Hello, good morning once again. Welcome to Swahili edition on this 10th October 2020. It is exactly nearly 750 days to the 2022 general elections, and we can all say that we are experiencing quite a dramatic turnout of events. On Swahili edition today, we ask the questions: Are we all doing the election? Would we do the Kenyan politics just the wrong way? Are we so doing it just the wrong way? And do we repetitively do it in the wrong way and still expect different results? On 9th August 2022, Kenyans will be expected to carry out a general elections targeting to elect leaders for the country, a president, deputy president, governor, senators, MCAs, MPs, women rep, among other elective positions. But as it stands at the moment, we are already in the campaign mode, and Kenyans are already aligning themselves to specify the political grounds with the Tanga 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 legend riding on the idea of a hustler nation, while the other group rides on the Big Four agenda and the BBI. We have to be clear that there already are political uh, yeah, political alignments that are strong and specific. But that raises a question: are we doing this politics wrong, or have we been doing it wrong? So I'll do some background check or a history check to back to 2017 and ask the question: what did we do in 2017 that we can say we learned enough from it that we can replicate in 2022? Or what did we do in 2013 that we can try to replicate in 2022? What did we do in 2008, and what did we learn from them that we can replicate in 2022? Kenyan elections are dramatic. Kenyan elections bring a conversation of who is who within our nation. They are mainly individual competitions. These are never competitions about ideas. Back in 2008, we were riding on the notion of the previous 2005 orange versus banana competition, where we had a referendum, a failed referendum that tried to change the constitution, and the main reason as to why the constitution was not uh, brought to brought to the table as an amendment was mainly because Kenyans did not think. Kenyans did not think. Kenyans did not think. Okay, Kenyans were meant to think that the 2005 referendum was meant to not bring about the change that was expected. In 2005, what we really wanted, what the political class really wanted, was for us to have a prime ministerial post which which is the center of power in the executive. The president just runs as a leader of government. In 2013, we had it was also a culmination of a political referendum that had been set up by the conversation of the devolvement of government, devolution. So we have had this conversation about bringing up the counties, and thankfully it was a conversation that was started on a successful referendum. So but the questions that were asked were: would the next government that would take over be able to implement the constitution to the letter? The two camps that we had, one led by His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, was bringing the conversation that it would, of course, give resources to the county government. It would successfully bring about a transition of power from what we had a centralized form of government to what we have currently, which is a devolved system of governance. Has that really been achieved? In 2017, we had an incumbent presidency trying to defend itself from from the conversation of corruption allegations that had rocked the government by by a big margin. We noticed very a, a very huge shift in conversation from 2013 to 2017, where in 2017 it's all about the government had stolen resources, the government had promised programs such as one, we had the computer laptop programs for students in primary schools. We had programs in sports programs, like stadiums. You still remember that, and these conversations were started and pumped up through the NASA Legion. We are doing something in 2020 that will shape the conversation in 2022. We are creating two conversations: the dynasties versus the hustlers, which is honestly raises the honest question of, are we doing this right? Historical check. Many times when political conversations have been constructed around the feeling of one class versus another class, there is always the threat of violence, or or we see a conversation that alienates the issues. I'm not saying by having a conversation of one group saying we are going to solve the problems of the young people, we are going to empower the hustler, versus another group that says we want constitutional reforms that give more resources to county governments, that provides opportunities for political losers to be part of the government. I do not think it is wrong, but how is it packaged? It is packaged to make you believe that if the hustler movement wins, young people will be empowered to carry out businesses in their small settings and make incomes. And in the other conversation, the BBI conversation, makes you believe that the county governments will have so much resources that they can carry out their mandate and offer services to the citizens effectively. Begs the question: how many such conversations have we had since time immemorial? Since independence, we were always told that the next person will change the conversation. 1963, the first Prime Minister of this Republic of Kenya, when he took over from Evelyn Bari, people never remember such basics. The then governor of the Republic of Kenya, or the Kenyan the Kenyan the Kenya the Kenya British Protectorate, when he took over, the promise of a new Kenya where all people had opportunities was right. We were told, or our grandmothers and grandfathers tell us, that they were told once the mzungu went, tutabaki na mali yetu, shamba yetu, tutabaki na serikali yetu, which was okay. It's good to build enthusiasm before creating a government, but also while building this enthusiasm, should you take time to cultivate a conversation versus policies, create the policies. Most of the governments that we've had since independence create enthusiasm, but they never create policies. It's a honest fact. They tell us, we will do, but they never tell us how we will do it. They want us to do it. the way they are telling us to do it. It's never about them doing it. When the Hustler Nation tells you vijana mtapewa mtakuwa empowered in your small hustles, mnaambiwa vijana mtang'ang'ana na hustle yenu na mtaendelea kung'ang'ana na. When the county governments are told, um, uh, we will provide resources, we will expand the shareable income, they're in truth telling you, you will have to struggle to increase your income. And as someone recently stated, we are always asking, should county governments receive more funds? How about should county governments produce more funds? What the county governments request from the national government is, of course, a shareable income from what they are from the national cake that they produce. Every county government produces some. Every country produces some resources from its own citizens through taxation, through uh, loaning by having you the citizens as guarantees. I don't know if that's true, but it might be. Uh, those resources are the ones we could say, we could ask how much are county governments producing in the first place before we can go to how much do they demand in shareable income. They demand a lot and they deserve a lot per se. If the county government cannot sustain itself on an income of less than 15 billion, yeah, such an income less than 15 billion, if its citizens have to access the basic needs that we need as a county government, we cannot do it below 15 billion. But we receive less than a third of that. But the question is, can we also have mechanisms for ourselves to produce those resources? Are we producing that? Are we providing a part of the shareable income that can be equivalent to 15 billion? Yes, we do. We have a population of nearly of 520 something thousand. We have this population lives within the county, uses resources within the county. It also produces resources within the county. And we cannot be lying to ourselves that as we produce these resources, they do not count to the percentage of the national shareable income. And we can we can try to run away from that simple fact, but we cannot hide. We can run away, but we cannot hide. We will go about in circles and circles. So the conversation today is, while we are doing our politics all wrong, while we are concentrating on the honest, selfish interest of the political class, they glow into the resources, the resource pack. They share it. Once you're closing the cake, you take your piece. They share it. The rest of us can sit back and do live Facebook feeds and complain about everything that is happening within our country. Or we could as well start our own conversation. What can we do that? Are these conversations over Facebook live feeds, over our Twitter handles, in our small homesteads, in our barazas, in our border stages? Are these conversations counting? They must count for something. Swahili Edition has been crafted around conversations by the citizens. I only come here to give a brief of what I have spoken to who and how and when. And if this conversation is ignored, we'll have a nation that's torn apart on this time round on economic classes, class wars. There is no worse war than a war where the deprived feel that they can take from the deprived. It happened during colonialism. We do not wish it to happen in a time when we are in total control of our mandate as citizens. We should not be letting it happen at a time when all the all the tools of power are held by ourselves. That is why I feel it's strange that the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya have started to show a divisive nature in their leadership. They are already pulling into camps when they are holding on a singular government. It is not wrong to hold diverse opinions even when you are within a group, but it's dangerous to hold these diverse opinions when this group is expected to meet a mandate. We only expect one thing from the current government, and it's the current government. I don't care about your Taka notions. I don't care about your Kieleweke ideologies. What I care is there is a government, and that is the government we want to work for us. That's the conversation every citizen should be having, not with the trumpets of the political leaders, but the trumpet of individuals. My honest opinion is we have done our politics wrong. We have let our political class define what we want. But it's a time when we really define what we want, and we know what we want. We know what we want. We want opportunities. We want opportunities, and we want opportunities. Opportunities in employment, opportunities in business, we want opportunities in education. We just want opportunities. They can do their dramas in a in their in their on their platforms. They can sponsor their platforms, give you those handouts, and make you believe that they are bringing solutions. But while they're still doing that, demand for opportunities. You get an opportunity to ask a question, ask it. Don't shy away from the fact that they are there to serve you and that they must. It's a mandate. The Constitution of Kenya places on our heads a big responsibility that we, the people, hold the sovereignty of the country. We, the people. And I say we, the people, because several people combined. So, we, the people, hold the sovereignty of this nation. We can sell it at a cheaper price by letting the political class do whatever they want when they want. Or we can sit back and say, no, we, the people, want something. I'll finish Swahili edition with another very unrelated conversation, the global political conversation. And two cases. Three, take the French politics, the US politics, and the UK politics. Emmanuel Macron, the Prime Minister of the French Republic, is a young leader, elected at 33, open to conversations, open to new ideas. But how has that open-mindedness helped his nation? The current most common reference point is the coronavirus pandemic, and France was heavily hit while they had an open-minded leader. Citizens has an advanced economy, but they were unlucky. They were caught unawares. The UK Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, is conservative, but man with ideas. The only thing they were thinking about was setting themselves out of the EU. When the coronavirus pandemic happened, that was the conversation. They only wanted to part ways with the EU. The COVID-19 was a distraction. Boris Johnson himself became infected, and we saw how things went. We know that at the moment, the United States of America is experiencing its worst impacts from a pandemic. The numbers of death, the number of deaths to the population ratio, total population ratio is so high that it leads the world in a pandemic. A nation with an advanced technology, a nation that has launched over 100 uh, satellites into space. Those are billions of shillings out there in space. They should have, they had a way to know. They had to have a solution beforehand. But it was not just that. In 2009, they had the swine flu infecting over 760 million citizens. It still asks you the question, can they protect their citizens well enough? They could not protect the 7.2 million who were infected by the coronavirus pandemic. They could not even protect their own president. We don't know if he was doing it so that he can prove that the new cure works. I do not know, and I will not speak for him. But what I know is his life was in danger at some point. To our own conversation of political progress, we still have a lot to do. And in comparison to what our need for a constitutional reform, we should not be letting the political class set the pace. I was in support of the Punguza Mizigo program by the Third Way Alliance. Okay. It was the only progressive idea that was on the table at that moment. And it still remains my I still have hold that honest opinion that if we chose Punguza Mizigo, if we said, look here, we have a president who is over earning, we have a parliament which is overcrowded, we have a senate which is dysfunctional, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking of Hustler Nation or the other conversation, BBI. We would be talking of here how we can reduce how we spend on our public officers. And these public officers only want to hold the power because power is sweet. Power gives them resources, power gives them incomes. And apart from those incomes, they have access to more resources uh, from programs that should be benefiting the citizens. Look at how they handle the constituency development fund. Look at how the county governments are handling programs that have been won through intense lobbying from, say, World Bank and other organizations. Look at how they handle uh, incomes from tax collected within their own setup. And then look at how the citizens on the ground are having trouble meeting basic expenses. I do not wish to say that our leaders have failed, but they'll say themselves, they'll admit when they are facing each other, whatever every side says is the truth, because they know. So I hope that the conversation on us doing our politics has to continue. We have to agree, we have to accept that we've let the political class set the political conversation. is not happening.